On this note, I want to invite Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Akrofi to usher us into the presence of the Lord as we take the opening prayer.
Shall we pray? Our God and our Father, we are grateful unto you for a day such as this, that you've brought us together to trace the past and chart a strategic path for a better tomorrow. You, the God of yesterday, today, and forever, we ask that you lead us in this our endeavor, so that, Lord, we will be united and forge a better tomorrow for ourselves, for our nation, and for our continent. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. So, those joining us online, we've just kick-started by way of opening prayer. And we now want to welcome the chairman for the 5th seminar and annual general meeting, Surveyor Harry Enim Esquire, to give us the purpose and the welcome address for this very important meeting. Let's put our hands together for him.
Thank you, License Surveyor MC. License Surveyor President, Executive Council, distinguished invited guests, members of the License Surveyors Association of Ghana, good morning. Oh, good morning. That's better. It is with great pleasure and a deep sense of honor that I stand before you today as chairman of the planning committee for this year's annual general meeting. On behalf of the committee members, I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you gathered here today. Your presence at this significant event is greatly appreciated, as it reflects your commitment to the profession and the growth of our association. This year, we have chosen a theme that resonates deeply with our shared vision and aspirations. License Surveyors Association of Ghana, tracing the past and charting a strategic path for a better tomorrow. This theme embodies our collective journey as license surveyors and our responsibility to shape the future of our profession and development of our beloved nation, Ghana. As we gather here today, we recognize the importance of reflecting on our past achievements and lessons learned. Our history is with milestones and challenges overcome. It is through this retrospective lens that we gain a deeper understanding of where we have come from, the progress we have made, and the immense potential that lies ahead. Yet, our focus today extends beyond mere retrospection. It is about setting a course of a brighter and more prosperous future for our profession, our members, and our nation. We are at a critical juncture in a field of surveying, where technological advancement and evolving global trends are reshaping our landscape. It is imperative that we not only adapt, but lead the way. Our association has been a pillar of support and a driving force for licensed surveyors in Ghana through collaboration, innovation, and pursuit of excellence. We can continue to provide leadership and contribute to the sustainable development of our nation. This annual gathering serves as a platform to deliberate, strategize, and strengthen our bonds, ensuring that we remain at the forefront of our field. In these 2 days of our meeting, We will engage in meaningful discussions, share valuable insights, and forge new partnerships. I encourage each of you to actively participate and contribute your expertise, experiences, and aspirations. Together, we will chart a strategic path that empowers us to not only navigate the challenges of today, but also harness the opportunities of tomorrow. As we embark on this journey of self-discovery and transformation, let us remain committed to the principles of professionalism, integrity, and service to our society. Let our actions today serve as a testament to our dedication to the betterment of our profession and our beloved Ghana. Once again, I extend my heartfelt welcome to all members of the Licensed Surveyors Association of Ghana on behalf of the committee. Let us make this annual general meeting a resounding success, a milestone on our ongoing journey of growth and progress. Thank you, and may our collective efforts lead us to brighter tomorrow. Long live LISAG, long live Licensed Surveyors Association of Ghana. I thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Chairman Alice, for welcoming us. So maybe since we've all been welcomed, you can just give your neighbor a high five. It's just, yeah. Maybe some of us don't even know. So I'm giving everybody the high five from wherever I am. Yes, so that's nice. We're happy. At least COVID is over, so feel free. Yes. So at this time, we want to invite our Honorable Secretary for LISAG, Florence Lamte, to do us the honors of introducing our very guest for this program.
Good morning, and welcome once again to the 5th seminar and annual general meeting of the Licensed Surveyors Association of Ghana. So we are privileged to have very important people in our midst today. So the first, okay, so we have directors from the Survey and Mapping Division of Lands Commission here with us. Our director is almost here, so I'll mention the deputy directors. Then when the director comes, then I also introduce him. So we have Surveyor Abdul Hanan Idrisu Abu, Deputy Director Operations, Survey and Mapping Division of. Welcome, sir. We also have Surveyor Na Seidu Zakari Abu, Deputy Director, Finance and Administration, Survey and Mapping Division. We have Surveyor Eric Okante, Deputy Director, Research and Development, Survey and Mapping Division of the Lands Commission. We have the president of FIG2 with us in the person of Diane Dumashi. This is her fatherland. So welcome to your fatherland. Please. Oh, sorry, Dr. Diane Dumashi. Yes. Our Honorable President of FIG. Please, can you join our president for us? Okay. Yes. What of the directors? The directors. Okay, so we now invite the chairman for the occasion. He is one of us. He was admitted as a license, or he was given the license in the year 2013. He holds BSc Geodetic Engineering from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, postgraduate diploma, remote sensing applications, Africa Regional Institute for Geospatial Science and Technology, Ife, Nigeria. Then MSc in remote sensing application, University College London. His working life experience in 1981 to 2010, he was with Survey, the then Survey Department, now Survey and Mapping Division. His last position to occupy was Acting Director of Service. He also, in 2010 to 2013, he was the Deputy Executive Secretary in charge of corporate services. And he became licensed, he retired and became a licensed surveyor in 2013. 2014 to date, he is the Acting Managing Director of Rudan Engineering Limited. He is in the person of licensed surveyor Jonathan Alote Abose. Please, let's welcome him. Chairman, please, I hand over to you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. President of LISAC, Licensed Surveyor Samuel Abidakun Esquire. The President of FIG, Dr. Day1 Dumashi. Distinguished invited guests, fellow licensed surveyors, and fraternity of the built environment. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our colleagues in the media, let me thank you once again for this honor done me out of the lot of more qualified personalities you chose to fall on me to steer the affairs of this first day of our annual AGM for 2023. I'm equally grateful also to God for such opportunity. Anytime we mention AGM means that God has spared us, and as some of the presenters to say, divine selection, because we are not better than those who have been invited to the higher call. But just that we have not finished our work. And I also use this opportunity to wish you Happy New Year, because as we heard, it was 2022, we met at an AGM like this, and we are meeting again. I also wish to add my voice to the Planning Committee Chairman to welcome you to this very place for our 2023 AGM. I had wished that I would have remained on the background, knowing that some of us have shown our faces in LISAC matters. But I think ESCO and the Planning Committee will not let me rest. And so I had to reappear, of course, without appearance fee. Ladies and gentlemen, for this year, the organizers thought that we should consider a theme, LISAC, tracing the past and charting a strategic path for a better future so far as our noble association is concerned. This is indeed a time of stock taking. That is how I see AGMs. You look at what happened in the past year and strategize towards what lies ahead. I believe that is why our colleagues, the historians, are very proud of their subject. They think that without the past, it will be difficult to shape the future. And as a result, organizations, associations, and institutions always use the AGM forum to take stock of what has happened in the past. Are there lessons that they can learn from so as to shape the organizations moving forward? Mr. President, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, long before some of us thought of joining LISAG, by virtue of working at the then survey department and now survey and mapping division, we were involved in ensuring that LISAG at least achieved some of its objectives by then. And I could recollect one, to rally licensed surveyors who are licensed by the director of surveys then into a formidable body, and also to show concern for each other and care for the same, and also develop the association as a mouthpiece through which their concerns and relationship with the regulator will be channeled. At that time, many people thought the association was a welfare club. And so decisions were taken by consensus building. Of course, there was leadership. But most often, whenever the director of service needed the licensed surveyors, then they would gather at the then head office. And some of us, by our schedule, were present. At that time, we thought 16 years was so far away that we were not going to join. But here we are, even we've added, by the grace of God, another 10 years. So which means that the 60th milestone was not too far. I believe the association has gone beyond the welfare club. With the current administrative structure of LISAG, the challenge for the executive committee and the entire membership now is to take advantage of the current goodwill being enjoyed by the association and leverage on the gains made by the previous executive committee with the support of the entire membership. One of such flagship programs is the LISAG policy. It is also expected that the leadership should carry all members along, whether they are active or inactive, to make the association relevant at all times. It is my expectation that by the end of this AGM, we would have achieved our aim and built on the gains in the subsequent years. On this note, I accept to chair the first day of this year's AGM with your full support to make it a success. God bless Ghana, God bless LISAG, and God bless the surveying profession. Thank you for your attention.
Please, Professor John Ayer, please, can you join the president and the chairman for us? In due course, we'll acknowledge you for
So thank you, Chair, for your response. This year, we want to make the program very light and not loaded like last year. So as you can see on the program, We try to do everything very, very brief and relaxing. Later in the afternoon, we will take a trip to the ongoing LISAC Secretariat at Laboni. And then in the afternoon, we shall make do with our constitution. We'll make do with our constitution. And then tomorrow, you realize that the Lands Commission did a presentation online on some of the digital platforms that they will want us to use moving forward. We shall have a physical presentation one more time tomorrow. And then the annual general meeting will also commence at the same time. So these are some of the highlights we should be looking out for in this 2-day journey. But on this note, we want to invite our own president to do us the honors of giving us his presidential address for this 5th annual seminar and general meeting. Let's please welcome licensed surveyor, Pastor Samuel Labi Dako. Thank you.
Okay, before he comes, please, can we welcome the Greater Accra Regional Surveyor in the person of Surveyor Frederick Bediako Mensah, my daddy. Welcome.
Hey. Director.
You're welcome. Oh. Please, shall we welcome the Director, Survey and Mapping Division of the Lands Commission, Surveyor Na Abdullahi Abubakari. Sir, please, you are welcome.
Thank you. Good morning to all of you. I say good morning. Thank you all for making it to the 5th AGM. As already said, we are pleased to have the Director of Service with his team, and honored to have the President of Surveyors Worldwide with us at this our 5th AGM, in the person of Dr. Day1 Dumashi. And Doc, we want to say we are grateful for honoring us. Lisa is going to be known throughout the world because the president was with us. Yeah. On this note, fellow licensed surveyors, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. It gratifies my heart to be addressing members in this 5th seminar and annual general meeting, which happens to be the 2nd current leadership. I would like us first to observe a minute of silence for our gallant colleague who was promoted to be in heaven in the year under review. So please, I want us to just rise up for a minute for our brother Kingsley Boateng, who departed to be with the Lord. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Thank you all. Please, may you take your seat. The Licensed Surveyors Association of Ghana has come a long way since its inception. We continue to honor the founding fathers, previous leadership, and key actors whose role, toil, and sweat is contributing to the forward march of the association. It's been 2 years since we took over the helm of affairs of LISAG. We have been trying so much to sail the ship to safety. We have gone past the honeymoon period, and even though there are few unresolved issues, the team is pushing the frontiers stronger and better. I have, with my executives, tried as much as possible to keep the boat afloat despite these challenges. We as ESCO will not in any way take lightly the mandate bestowed to us by the members to steer the affairs of the association. There have been a lot of unsubstantiated issues flying from verbal to social media discussions. The need to focus on the bigger picture of ensuring policy refunds and the welfare issues are dealt with to the core have been our primary responsibility. To the glory of God, we have not defaulted in any single month to make this happen. On the contrary, we have started capital projects and structures that would, in the future, position LISAG as a formidable professional group in the sub-region. LISAG, in its infant stages, was initially thought of to address the welfare needs of its members. Many were skeptical on how far this association could go, but alas, from a very difficult beginning, it has grown stronger over the years, though yet to achieve its full potential. We need to pay commendation to His Royal Highness, LS Na Alhaji Abu Idrisu II, Kumbuna Yiri, as well as licensed surveyors Samuel W. late, B.A. late, Dr. J.P. Okan late, Reginald Ensomensa, Alhaji Ridwan Brahma, ESI, Samuel Atubi, Asari, Isaac Sian Adu, late, Anthony Amankwa, Eric Noti Engman, Stephen Asiedu, Kwame Tinadu, Stephen Jaba, Libura Albert A. Brahma, Samuel Labidako, and many others whose role, many others who made it happen. You cannot miss the visionary role of Kwame Tinadu leadership that for a long time championed the pose of this association. Kwame and your team, well done. We are grateful. The association, we started off as a welfare body for its members, is now a well-resourced and a key stakeholder in the land value chain and professional bodies in the country. It has championed many projects and programs ranging from the Lands Commission of the Land Surveying Division of GHIS and the academic institution as one of its social responsibilities. That's corporate social responsibilities. It has been at the core of the new land bill as well. For almost 2 decades of championing cadastral surveying practice in Ghana, LISAC must go into self-introspection and assess the trajectory it is charting for its corporate image and welfare of members, and thereby chart a new course for the next dispensation. It is in the light of this that this year's seminar and AGM will be an internal gathering that seeks to review and propose changes that makes LISAC bigger, better, efficient in its future endeavors. We will be welcoming frank discussions and our omission and commission over the years. This assessment must position us to take our youthful place in the land value chain and professional practice in Ghana and beyond. We, therefore, in this seminar will be working on the theme, LISAC, tracing the past and charting a strategic path for a better tomorrow. I call on all members to bring their thoughts to make our association a delight to behold and one that meets our collective needs. For ESCO engaged in key stakeholder engagements aimed at opening job opportunities for its members and major institutional collaborations that adds to the growth of LISAC. The LISAC House, or new building at Labone, is progressing steadily and is about 90% completed and may see occupation before the close of the year. This is one of the legacies the Labidako leadership, with the support of members, would like to leave for the future development of LISAC. The prime location for this property and the adjoining land is a strategic investment that will continue to benefit the association. This will reduce overhead costs from meetings, office, and housing with time. We expect to give out the old office building to be used by members in an arrangement that continue to encourage more professional practice. The secretariat moving to Labone will pave way for the members without offices and who so wish to occupy the old office at Asalam Dam. The landlady is even more happy with this arrangement and has even offered additional room to be used as offices. ESCO has also had series of engagement with land use and special agency authorities to pilot the well-planned communities both institutions proposed. The Yilo Krobo Assembly has also partnered with many landowners who are willing to make available about 10,000 acres of land for this pilot project. As we are aware, the legal committee is scrutinizing the proposal document, whilst the strategic planning committee is finding the best way members can approach the work and recover their investments after the project. Again, ESCO together with the Lands Commission are in talks with GMX, the Israeli company with over 50 cores across the country, to enable LISAC integrate our course into their system for members to enjoy the wider coverage they provide. Also, as work towards the bylaws for the Land Acts is starting, ESCO plans to meet our regulator, Lands Commission, to give LISAG slots on the committee for our input. I will encourage all members to buy the Land Act book if they are yet to do so, and read through thoroughly and come out with points to enhance our practice. The LIs are to be formed and they want us to make an input. LISAC, together with the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, will be hosting the International Committee of Surveyors, FIG, next year in May 2024. And preparations towards the success of the event is in progress. And the presence of the president here bears testimony to that. I will want to take this opportunity to ask as many members as possible who can offer any form of help to do so. We need sponsors too, and I wish more LISAG members and companies will sponsor the upcoming event. This year has also seen the restructuring of the way the Secretariat is being run, and this exercise unfortunately affected 2 employees who are no more part of the Secretariat staff. We also appraise the work of the Executive Director in line with our constitutional provisions. They did not satisfy with the process, has sued LISAG in court. LISAG has filed appearance accordingly and will update members as the case travels. This has, however, not had any significant impact on the management process at the Secretariat. It is important to say that lessons learned from this episode will help chart a course for further engagement with that would protect the interests of LISAG and at the same time respect the rights of employees. As we seek to be a more formidable association, we must employ efficient human resources strategy for organizational development. We have therefore started putting in place structures that would make the administrative setup at the Secretariat more functional and non-repetitive. We've had issues with the Ghana Revenue Authority on our tax. As law-abiding citizens, this should not ordinarily be a problem, except for the manner this process started and the targeting of some years to begin with. Of course, we need to be able to ensure LISAG is compliant with all the financial and tax regimes. This would take a toll on us, but we'll strategize to stay above waters. The Financial Secretary will provide a comprehensive report on the events leading to our current situation and the development involving GRA. In the light of this, we have chosen not to adopt a high-profile approach, including refraining from publishing our AGM in our prominent newspapers, omitting invitation to sister institutions for our opening ceremonies, and limiting the presence of both electronic and print media. These measures have been implemented to safeguard the ongoing negotiation with GRA from any potential disruptions. LISA has come a long way as an association. We all witnessed the first changing of over leadership through voting democratically. It is therefore without doubt that change takes time to be understood and stabilized. We call on your support to us to succeed and build this group together. We must also pay attention to the review and bylaws of the LISA Constitution during our deliberations. This, the document that binds and dictates our operations. And as such, we must all be alive to what works best for the association without fear and favor. This will be our last year of service before the next elections in 2024. Ours is to serve and continue to ensure a smooth process while the democratic tenets and covenants are protected with all certainty. Moving forward, we shall continue to collaborate with agencies for more job opportunities for members. We shall finalize the structural and administrative reforms in the secretariat and beef up the movement of the office with a pickup vehicle that will help with the welfare activities. The welfare complain that some of the places they need pickups to be able to access. So we have a plan to get pickup. The need to rebrand the association would be at the forefront of discussions, which enhances our influence and impact as we position ourselves. We shall develop the second land, remodel the boys' quarters on the first land, and complete the renovation of the office building. Furthermore, we shall also engage ourselves in ensuring that we manage a successful FIG conference in Ghana. The theme for this year's seminar and AGM, which is Lisa, tracing the past and change and charting a strategic path for a better tomorrow, is very apt in seasons like this, where we need to put the past events behind and forward towards together as entities to place the association on a high pedestal of the profession. Please, let us all contribute towards the discussion to achieve the aim of the team at the end of the event. I want to thank members for the opportunity given to me as a chief servant to drive the affairs of the association. I do not pretend that all is well, but at least I'm confident that we have moved from where we were and are making steady progress. I call on your unflinching support for us to rise and build together. The future is bright and remains forward. Long live Lisa, long live Ghana, and God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for your very elaborate and thought-provoking speech. At this time,
So introduction of the speaker on the theme. Our keynote speaker is one of us. This year we are going okay. Okay, so before we do that, we want to have a message from our regulator, the Director of Survey and Mapping Division of the Lands Commission, Surveyor Na Abdullahi Abukari. Please, we want to hear from you. Thank you.
Good morning to all. And I would like to observe protocols. If you don't mind, I will do some kind of, I'll be biased towards it. Welcome our lady president from FIC. We are happy that you are with us here. So, Well, it is an extreme honor, pleasure to be here with you to, as usual, give you our assurance of support in all your endeavors towards the survey profession. Indeed, the team couldn't be more appropriate, tracing the path and charting a strategic path for a better tomorrow. That comes just immediately as we had LSZ also thinking smart about geospatial solutions for Ghana's digitalized economy. I think it's an appropriate topic that dovetails into what the LSD have been thinking. So in the thinking smart and tracing our path, what do we need to do? I think there was that relevant topic at the LSD seminar, and it had to do about choosing a champion. If we don't have a champion, we may never be able to think smart. We may never be able to trace our path. It's in this regard, I think we ought to be looking at what the LSD presented during their seminar and what was it you aspire to do as licensed surveyors. Well, my main time is to give you a gist of the activities of the the SMD as the regulator to get our profession moving in the right direction. So I just will categorize a few of them. That is maybe if I am not able to recall some, that's why I brought departed from the usual one-man show here. I've invited my immediate management to help in kind of getting us abreast with whatever that development that we have in the Lands Commission. So we have presented the geospatial, resubmitted actually the geospatial bill to cabinet for a possible endorsement. Like the Lisa president mentioned, we are also in the development of allies for the Land Act 1036. There's a committee that is looking at the formulation of allies. And I think at appropriate times, for some of you who are lawyers as well in this profession, we are going to be inviting you to help in advising us on some of the allies we want to present. We also have finalized or done the final corrections for the Survey Council bill and resubmitted to the Attorney General. Survey Council bill, please. I hope everybody has heard it. When I took over there has been certain noises here and there with when the distance starts. Why are we not aware? I've done my utmost best in getting everybody informed that such a bill is being passed. I only succeeded, I think it's a third, or I was succeeded as a third or even a fourth director as chairman in seeing this bill forward. Tomorrow, if anything is wrong, please, you have a chain of people to blame, not Abdullah. Yeah. Technical Instructions Committee. For some reason, the process stalled, but I can tell you we have revived the committee, and sooner or later, the 40% of work that was left would be completed. Then the transformation parameters. It's Mr. Surveyor Kwashi here. Dr. Dazi, is he here? Dr. Osei? Professor Osei, sorry. Yes, I am mentioning the names because they are key people in having that transformation for parameters issue brought to a final conclusion. I am yet to get a report, not from my representative, who is now a licensed Surveyor Kwashi. The professor and Dr. Dazi came, gave their verbal opinion. I asked them to put it in writing so that we could meet over. I am here to see it. In fact, the committee has not delivered. It's not Director of Service fault. The LISAC president again made mention of the collaboration we have with the Israeli firm GMX in establishing course. Actually, we established a committee, and I think we went around all the 50 stations to examine them and give an appropriate report. We found all of them, almost all of them, except for one or two. And we made the GMX go and then correct whatever issues we had with them. We are now looking at a memorandum of understanding that we will have to sign so that we see a smooth operationalization of the core usage of the core stations. One bothering issue has been the boundary commission. That's the SMD has been looking at. Boundary commission has part of its act an exact copy of the functions of the Director of Service, or SMD. That has empowered the coordinator in there to sort of think that the Director of Survey is a subordinate office. And that's, unfortunately, is done in concert with some of you licensed surveyors. I would want to plead that we stop such disrespect to the authority that empowers you to do a survey. You can't imagine. And that one too, my predecessor is here, Abuajiche. When I took over, I had to read the minutes. And these minutes saw Abuajiche, who was supposed to be director of survey, listed as Mr. Abuajiche, Survey and Mapping Division, Lands Commission, and one of you as director of survey. You know, the coordinator being who he is, tends to see that there's nothing wrong with that. And he gets to cite examples of, oh, the president of the Marketing Women Association. It doesn't stop. It doesn't in any way tarnish the or they make irrelevant the presidency of Ghana. I don't know. But I don't know whether if the president of Ghana is anywhere, you can't be talking of president of Marketing Association Women. See? So, well, and I think it has kind of stalled our relationship because we have had to sit. We've written to the ministry to clarify. We want a very clear understanding of who we are vis-a-vis the Boundary Commission. Because I don't think by virtue of one or two licensed surveyors in the Boundary Commission, the director of survey becomes a subordinate officer. That's an issue we ought to be looking at seriously. I think slated in your program is I think a meeting with Lands Commission staff. It's supposed to be about online submission and checking of plans. I think that is also far advanced, and that we suggesting that it's most appropriate to do a pilot and be very sure of what issues maybe may not be apparent, so that when we are going to implement it nationwide, we would have been very sufficient in our minds that it is a program that would not have any much of hitches. What we also going to be taking seriously is instruments, registration, and calibration. It is going to feature strongly. We have auditors who now even raise the issue of instrument registration and calibration as audit queries. So it's going to be featuring strongly in our activities, if not this year, but very early of next year. We also are even considering that possibly the director of survey may have to take up the issuance of stamps to license surveyors. So that is something that is also being deliberated about. And so maybe next year, when you come to renew your license, we may be giving you a stamp at a cost. Excuse me. The issue of equitable distribution of, do I say, jobs or regional numbers have come out severally. But then when you talk of equitable distribution of numbers of jobs, then you want to talk of who can deliver within the appropriate time. We know quite a number of you can do the work at lightning speeds. I have one good friend of mine. He is such that when he takes a side plan and he sees one minor mistake, he will take it from office to office, from officer to officer, to prove to people how smart he is to have identified an error on a side plan. Meanwhile, the client is waiting. Some of us are also thinking that, well, you came to me as a client, and so I would finish your work depending upon my own arrangement or style. The director of survey is concerned about timely delivery. So we cannot be thinking of equitable distribution of regional numbers or jobs when we know that we don't have equal experience and we can't all deliver as required. We will have to look at that issues seriously before we can be thinking of equity in the distribution. Otherwise, the best person who can convince the client that he will deliver and deliver fast would always be the one to have the clients. There's this issue of consent too that I have to raise. That's reporting of technical issues. Some of us have come to think that the best place to go is to the politician, the regional chairman. Go and tell him what problems you have encountered with a technical issue. When the director of survey is there and his management or representatives are all across the regions, I don't think a lawyer will go and tell the report was it his legal issues to a surveyor. And I think it is also more appropriate to understand that if we have issues as surveyors, it should be reported at the appropriate quarters for redress. So I want to appeal to us here to do the needful. when it comes to reporting issues that has to do with surveying. Some of these issues sometimes and others can be very frustrating. It's frustrating, so frustrating to the extent that I have one, may his soul rest in peace, Mr. Doche, a licensed surveyor, former director of service. I remember him in a meeting tell an executive secretary, please, I don't want a slave master relationship. I didn't understand that at that time. I have seen it several times. When you, the technical person, know what you're about, but somebody for certain, call it even personal sometimes, would want to dictate technical issues when he has no iota of experience in there. I do also remember him some time ago when he came around and I was the head of digital section. And I was pointing some maps to him. Said, Doche, we want this thing, we have this problem, this problem. In fact, he looked at it and told me that, you know what, in 2 years' time, to be my back case. In fact, it's become a slogan for me of late. Yes, a kind of frustration. You know, you ought to sometimes fool yourself and only console yourself in the fact that in a few months' time, it will be your back case. Yes. So, like I've been saying here, maybe in 11 months' time, a lot of things will be my back case. You know. In the talking about technical issues of late, government acquisitions. Some of you licensed surveyors, or even the so-called professional surveyor now that we are talking about so much, you kind of team up with a politician, go and then discuss an acquisition process, go and do your own survey, and before long, you come and then you are shoving it into our hands. And when we start to tell you, you ought to start from here, do A, B, C, D, then it becomes an issue of you people, you delay our work. Surveyors, we are very practical. Especially when works is acquisition and it is for the government. That is when the director of survey has to put on his boots and go to the field to make sure that the appropriate thing is done to forestall future litigations, compensations, and all that associated with wrong survey. So please, I am pleading with you all in that regard to understand that if you have any last piece of work to do, please contact the appropriate authority so that we all do know how to go about the work. Don't go and take a Sunday school graduate. Some of them, they are still even in the school, and they are already they are the ones that they give the work to. I think we should be thinking more of our ethics rather than aligning ourselves with, call it, whoever out there for a very fast work. So, on that note, I once again will say that a big thank you for inviting me and my management team to be here to give you our assurance of support. I have intentionally invited my management team to be here so that if any of you have any issues after this address, you can bring it up. And we either would address it here or we note it for future address. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director. This is the tone of this seminar and annual general meeting we want to go. Somebody will say, we don't want the usual English collegist. We want it to be as practical as possible because this is an internal meeting. We raise the issues and our rapporteurs, I hope you are capturing the details. That's the essence of this meeting this year, just to have very open and frank discussion. And with Director, your able team around, I'm sure it's going to enrich our discourse during the open forum session, where what we expect, what you also expect, what we can all do, we'll all raise it in ways that can make us better after this 2-day conference. So thank you for setting the stage and thank you for your delivery. We want to introduce the Deputy Executive Secretary of the Lands Commission in the persons of Surveyor Jones Ofori Bwedu. Please, let's put our hands together for the Deputy ES. We're glad you are here to join this conference. And before we have the honors of receiving the FIG president, we want to stand and just, I think we've been sitting for a while. Please, can you, with all humility, can you stand at least? Yeah. So Azu, I see you are doing. So you see, the team is what? LISAC tracing. So we want to trace LISAC with our body. So let's trace the L. The L. How do we do the L? This way, then that way. Or is it a small L or big L? Okay, let's do the big L. So let's go this way and that. Good. Then let's see the I, small I or big I. No, I think the small I will do. So you do the I and you jump and put the and put that small. Okay, so let's go. We do the I and then put the dot. Hey, some people's dots did not dot. Okay, the S. Let's see. This one, the waste people who the S. Some people, okay, atupa. Then the A. Big A or small A? Okay, big. Is that which one? Big A. Okay, so let's go. The big A, yes, that way, and you cross. Now the G, so small or big? Big one. Hey, someone the big one, someone the small one. You feel free to do whichever you want to do. All right, so thank you very much. Please, let's have our seats. I think we've been sitting for a while. So now, Her Excellency, the President of FIG, Dr. Diane Dumashi, we have you to kindly give us your presentation. So technical team, you can present that.
Thank you, thank you. Hopefully this mic's working. Well, good morning. Nice to see you. And the first thing I would got to say is my opportunity to come here and join you at your seminar and AGM, because it's really unusual for FIG presidents and council members, the VPs, the vice presidents, to attend these seminars. I happen to have been in country, so I think the luck was on my side. But my sincere thanks, President, for that. So I'm going to extend my greetings first and foremost to the Executive Secretary, Surveyor of the Lands Commission, Benjamin Arthur, and also my wider greetings to Executive Secretary Jones Afaru Badu. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you also for all that you're going to do for FIG Working Week. I'll come back to that, but particularly also my thanks goes to the Director of Survey and Mapping, Surveyor Nar Abdullahi Abukari. Good to hear from you earlier. Thank you. I took some notes, by the way. But yes, also Stephen Jabber, my greetings to you, as well as Vice President of LESAG, and also incidentally, Honourable FIG member. My thanks and greetings to Surveyor Reverend Professor John Aye for being here, as well as the guest speaker. Very much looking forward to hearing from you in a moment or two. And of course, I'm looking forward to sharing this platform with FIG Vice President Kwame Tenadu, who is of your family through and through. So all honourables in the room, all Land Commission and management team of Director of Survey and Mapping, hello. All protocols observed from me to you. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, as I've said, it's not usual that I have got the opportunity and honour to address you all at such a platform, because I, as representative of FIG, the president, we have 120 members in the organization. So I'm representing 300,000 surveyors around the world. I'll come back to you on that. But I'm so pleased that your theme today, charting a strategic path for a better tomorrow, it really does sit with the FIG work plan. And I hope you don't mind, I'm going to take you over the next 15 minutes through what FIG is, what it's about, and really how you are involved. We need the top exec to see this as well. I'll carry on, gentlemen, as you come down. I'm honoured that you want to see it. So look, you know, FIG is all about, in this current term of 4 years, my presidency, serving people and planet. And why? It's because of the things you're talking about too. There is an Agenda 2030 for the whole globe. And that 2030 agenda is normally articulated as the SDGs, of which you all know about very, very well. It's an amazing agenda to get all nation states behind one real cause and direction. So FIG wants to make sure it's also behind that agenda. And so we need our profession to be sustainable. We need to deliver in all the things we do, land surveying and all the rest of it. We need to deliver sustainably and deliver something that is addressing that agenda. And you know, UN Habitat came up with this agenda, and it's got this little icon, which FIG is actually adopting. And it's talking about sustainable holistic development. Yeah, we know that. Did you know those 5 Ps? All the things that it's trying to achieve, and therefore our governments are trying to achieve, are under these 5 headings. I would say to you, what does our profession look like if we want to be purposeful and we want to be relevant? Because if we're not, we will not operate for the benefit of society. Oh, here we go. So I'm just going to have about 2 or 3 slides for each of these headings. And the first one of which is the context for the mandate I'm talking about. Sorry, this is sort of working. Okay. And we heard earlier from presenters about trends. And, you know, yes, 2015, SDGs, Agenda 2030, absolutely great. But, you know, we as land professionals, we need to understand the global picture. But actually, and you know this, we work in local realities. We're on the ground. We're going out in the bush. We are doing the surveying. We are then going back to our clients. So yes, we need to think and act global, but we're actually also on the ground. Again, are we relevant and are we fit for purpose for the future, given everything that's happening in the world? And if you really want to think about that big picture, then we need to think about the challenges, the global challenges. You actually know about these, but have you really sat down and thought, oh yeah, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This lady here, Professor Grattan, has actually neatly come up with 5 of the global challenges which you and I face day to day. I've added an extra one, which you'll see under settlements and rapid urbanization. So it's self-explanatory. I need not go into it, but I would say the last 2 are about society's needs. So really, it's the benefits that we have to address when we're thinking globally as well as locally. So there we go. No, it's a bit odd, this. How do we make sense of all of that? And how do we make sure we remain purposeful in how we operate? Because that's how we are judged. It's our operation, it's our delivery. We heard from Director of Survey and Mapping that actually we've got to operate for the client, not just for ourselves. And so everything. And what we can do, understanding the global, is actually bridge that gap between what's happening in the big wide world and those trends and the needs of society on the ground, in our villages, in our urban areas. But we have got to be a trusted profession in order to do that. And that comes from being a professional. LISAG is that professional. So, it's all right, it's just got a lag. Let me just talk about then the next bit, the opportunity to you in the profession and to everything that we have to think about when operating. Well, this gentleman here, JF Kennedy, talked about beware the danger. Well, the danger is we become irrelevant, but there's always opportunities when there are dangers. And land surveyors are very good at spotting opportunities. Your mind, your training enabled you to spot opportunities. So what FIG does for its members is make sure we keep our eye on the ball, make sure that we ensure we're talking about what it looks like to be relevant, and that we can, and I would say we contribute to sustainable development by being relevant. And it is, and this is going to come back later, in our collective hands. Michael, are you there? Can you move these slides on, because they're not really happening very well for me. So I'll tell you when I need the next slide. If you hold it, no, go back, please. So FIG, let me just briefly explain who and what FIG is and why you might be interested in FIG. So as I said, we are a members organization. At least 120 countries are represented from around the world in FIG. Two key members, guess who they are? LISAG and GHIS. Absolutely key in what we are doing. We also have academics, we have corporate members. And so we are really a vibrant family of bringing lots of people together. And our contribution collectively are under 3 headings. The first of which is professional. It's the sort of stuff you're going to be talking about today and tomorrow, getting and drilling down to the technical side of our profession. I'll come back on the next slide in that. On institutional, that's about helping member associations when asked, go back please, Michael, when asked to actually help and grow the institution, help and grow mapping agencies or other land-related agencies around the world, including geospatial. And the third is global development. Remember, I talked about global. We can only be global if we're actually engaged globally. Next slide, please, Michael. And so that professional side, we organize ourselves in what's called 10 commissions. And you can see a picture of all the commission chairs at the top, and the lady below happens to be the chair from Nigeria of Commission 10. In bold, I've highlighted where you as land surveyors and geospatial professionals are really important in what goes on in those commissions. There are land surveyors actually being engaged in each of those commissions as we speak, including hydrography. I don't know if you're LISAG hydrographers in the room, but you're a man or woman after my own heart, because my doctorate is in coastal. But land surveying and geomatics crosses all of those 10. You really are key to what is happening in FIG. Next, please, Michael. So let me go to the third point now, the shaping of that future that I suggested and alluded to. So what is the future you want to shape in the context of FIG? Remember those 5 headings. Well, if you think about those 5 headings, next, please, Michael, then we actually are able to draw our own deliberations by linking to those 5 headings. I'm going to explain in a minute, but the first thing is it gives us a vision for what FIG is going to do for 4 years. That's what it is. We're going to serve society, and we're going to benefit people, and we're going to benefit the planet through our deliberations, through our active work. But you know, visions are great, aren't they? But we need to be able to actually be hands-on. So actually the theme, what we will do, is tackling the global challenges. And that's talking about the trends and crises. And we do have an ambition plan, of which the commissions, each of the commissions has contributed as well, so that we can actually shape and be action orientated in what we do when we're in our network. Next, please. And so, you know, I go back to those commissions, but I also go back to what the council's doing and its president and its vice presidents, and we have task forces and we have networks. And I mentioned that word collective. If you on a member association, as well as an individual basis, are not engaged, we will not do any of that. So it is in our collective hands. Next, please. So I'm going to talk to you about what that collective hands look like in a 3 or 4 slides. So I'll go on to the work plan aims of the council. Next, please. And if you like, I have 4 task forces. Sorry, I've got more tasks, 4 pillars, of which the task forces, not the commissions, the task forces are really going to drive home the message. The first one, and it's in no particular order, but the first one is planet. And here and this is where you guys and girls come in. This is about the best use of land and our resources and marine area as well, in order that cities and urbanization can happen in a sustainable manner. So we've got two task forces that are critically populated by land surveyors, populated by valuers, populated by a whole range of professionals in our wide profession. And we've got one on the Agenda 2030 and the SDGs, and another one on climate change and action. Next, please. The other pillar is people. Now, this is about sustainability, both people in our profession, which we heard about earlier, and that we have got to remain relevant, and we've got to be trusted, and we've got to have good technical standards and best practice. And it's going to cut across all of the generations in the workplace, i.e. 4 generations, as well as maintaining the societal relevance, which is people out in society. And to the right, that picture is actually of the General Assembly of those 120 countries. Next, please. So we've got 2 task forces again. The first of which is about the evolutionary diversity and inclusion. And that is chaired by your very own Stephen Jabber. And that will be looking at recruitment into the profession, but also retaining us. It's about continuing professional development for all generations, even us seasoned surveyors. And then geospatial is a massive trend, as we all know, and that's what the second task force is going to be looked at. And then the other pillar, partnerships. And again, I refer back to Ghana and its very, very important role as a member association, and incidentally, a couple of academic members as well. So we have to look to and make sure we work with our partners, our member associations, but we also work externally with UN Habitat, World Bank, FAO, the regional African Development Bank, and so on and so forth. And when I say we work, I come back to member associations work and individuals work. Your route into FIG, because you individually, you are a member of FIG, because LISAG is a member of FIG. Automatically, you're members. It's you and what you want to do in engagement that then gives you rewards and also gives society rewards. Thank you. And then just very quickly, so that you know, the fourth pillar is an internal governance one. Just as you're talking about in your AGM, we've got to make sure FIG governance remains as it should. Next one, please. So let me just now start drawing to a close with a few slides on the final words. Next, please. And those pillars I talked about, each of them are really focused upon over each year of the 4-year term at our working weeks. And we've just had one in Orlando, and that was sustainability and climate. And hurrah, I'm so privileged because it's going to be in Accra next year, my fatherland. I mean, what good luck is that, being the president at the time of that conference, Planet and Resources, and then Brisbane the following year, as you can see, and then we have our 4-year fourth term Cape Town, which will be my last one. Next, please. So just a few words, and we heard from President Sam about this, Planet and Resources and Youth. That's really going to be a massive focus. The website has already got some of the themes. You can see the date. FIG and a local organizing committee continually meet and discuss, and that's steered by the presidents of LISAG as well as the presidents of GHIS. This is a working week put on by 2 organizations, LISAG and GHIS. You are sisters or brothers, depending on which genre, working for this working week. And you've got co-conference directors accordingly. LISAG, it's Stephen Jabber, and GHIS, it's Suleiman, who is and he's current president of GHIS, but he won't be president by the time we have our conference. So it's really important that you come along, find out about FIG. The best way to understand FIG is come to a working week. It's on your doorstep. This is your working week. You really should be proud. We don't have working weeks except in one a year. And, there's only so many years within our career. So I am so hoping that you are able to make this working week. Next, please. And so, if we want to shape the future, then it is about collectively doing so. We do it with members from around the world. We don't operate in isolation. We shape the future for global community, for our own national community, as well as our own village communities as well. And so we are mindful with our pillars of those 4 bullet points. And then the other 2 from the UN Habitat of Peace and Prosperity, clearly we keep that in mind as well. So I would say, we've got to be purposeful and continually shift, adapt, evolve how we operate in order to keep our standards as high as possible so that we're trusted by the profession. Next, please. So I would just say, as far as FIG is concerned, which is you, we are together. And our journey is going to be far-reaching. It has been in the past. And as you say in your theme, charting a strategic path for a better tomorrow meets that agenda. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dr. Diane Dumashi, for the presentation. So it's now time to hear from our keynote speaker. So, as I said earlier, he is one of us. He has BSc in Physics and Maths from University of Ghana. He was a tutor at Accra Academy from 1986 to 1989. Then he was an employee of the then survey department from 1989 to 2002. He moved to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology to have his BSc in Geomatic Engineering in 1989 to 1991. That's the special program. Then he obtained his MSc in 1995. From 1995 to 1996, he pursued his MSc at the University College of London. He became a lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Geomatic Engineering Department from 2002 to date. He obtained his PhD in geomatics too along the line, and he's a Reverend Minister with Perez Chapel. He's been a Reverend Minister since 2012. Please help me welcome licensed surveyor, Reverend Professor John Aye.
Thank you very much, Surveyor President. That is a title that the GHIS people have taken over. Well, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and our esteemed colleagues. It is with much humility and also profound gratitude that I stand to share our collective history with the hope that it will inspire us so that we will have a boundless enthusiasm for the future of our esteemed profession, which is the land surveying mapping and geoinformatics, and also our association, the Licensed Surveyors Association of Ghana. And I consider myself to be very inadequate in this task because we still have with us senior colleagues who have seen it all from the beginning of formal mapping profession in the Gold Coast, or else people who have worked with the pioneers and have obtained direct information from them. And so I dare say that my information may have gaps inside and some inaccuracies also, but I believe that I can be pardoned and we will all add on to it. So we'll have a complete situational report. But today, as we stand at the intersection of history and possibility, we want to reflect on our roots, recognize our present challenges, and also envision the boundless potential that can lie ahead of us. Fortunately for me, I think this is not just a meeting, but it is a convergence of expertise that spans several generations, the older ones, like I have mentioned, and with the younger ones. And I believe that together we will be able to develop a blueprint or a strategic path to define our very essence and for our collective future. As we delve into our history, we'll find tales of very passionate surveyors who had dedicated their lives to the precision of our staff, our craft, and they had meticulously measured with very embryonic equipment, but they have obtained results which even with our modern technological advanced equipment, will find it very difficult to match in terms of accuracy. And these have mapped, they have analyzed the results, and they have produced databases in the form of maps and plans, which form a nation for us with boundaries and lay the foundation for our relevance in national development and the impact of our association. And I believe that we cannot fail to mention the likes of George Ferguson, who was the first Gold Coast surveyor that the British sent for training in 1889 at the Royal School of Mines and Geographic Society in London, where he trained in geology and ethnology and then surveying. When he came back, he was employed to work on colonial boundary maps, to draft and compile colony-wide political maps for the British colonial masters. And through this, he played a key role in the expansion of British colonial territory. He was engaged on several missions to Asante and the hinterlands to secure treaties of trade and protection and help colonial governance related to expansion, administration, and consolidation, even at the peril of his own life, because he was working against the self-determination of the natives, and he died in the process, but we cannot overlook his contribution in consolidating our current national boundaries. And of course, there were many other notable people who were employed in the Mine Survey Department, which was formed then in 1901, such as Kweku Asante, such as E.J. Smith, J.B. Asuman, Robert Josiah. And some of these people started as chainmen and laborers, but rose to become professional surveyors. Under the Surveyor General R.H. Rowe, for example, by 1922, Kweku Asante and A.A. Young had become cadastral surveyors, or what was termed in those days European grade surveyors. And A.A. Young, for example, became a trainer in the training school that was started in the 1920s. By talking about former surveying professional practice in Ghana, it is worth noting that the Mine Survey Department was established in 1901 by Major Wattenstein purposely for granting and surveying concessions for minerals and other extractive activities like timber. And between 1902 to 1905, Captain F.G. Gorgisberg assisted him in this role, but Gorgisberg became then the Director General in 1905 when the latter, Major Wartensberg, was appointed as Commissioner to the Northern Territories. It was under Gorgisberg that the Survey Department was itself formed in 1908. At that time, he was a major. And then it was given clear mandate to continue mapping the concessions in the colony, to produce colony map for all the towns, major towns at a scale of 1:1250, and then produce topographic maps covering the whole of the colony, and also develop and extend primary, secondary, tertiary level networks, and also horizontal controls, which would later be used for road and rail construction. And it is worth noting that in 1914, most of the workers have to go and join the World War. And so the department was closed down in 1915 and then reopened again when they returned in 1919, towards the end of 1919. And by that time, Gorgisberg, who had then become a brigadier general, was appointed the governor of the Gold Coast, but because he recognized the importance of the surveying profession, he gave it much prominence. And under R.H. Rowe, they were given additional obligations to put in place facilities for employing the already trained natives to be road location and railway engineers for construction, and then establish a surveying training school for the training of natives to provide manpower needs for the colonial government, and then extend the triangulation network and tertiary traverses so it can form the basis for all surveys that will be done in the colony, and then also granting of licenses to prospective qualified surveyors, both expatriates and trained locals, so they can undertake concession and cadastral surveys. And this training drive for local surveyors started in the 1920s and has resulted in the training of many staff at the technical level to the department and other departments also. And on the professional level, A.H. Osei, R.J. Simpson, and Stephen Garagbeku, for example, were given scholarships to go and continue their professional training in University College in London. And upon their return as employees of the Gold Coast Survey Department, they had also become chartered surveyors because they had then passed the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors examination. And in addition to this, also several staff who started as technical staff were also in later years prepared for taking the RICS examinations from Ghana. So they also became professional chartered surveyors. And this latter group include our own S.W. Koranchi, deceased, Reginald Enchua Mensah, T.K. Simpson, and then some other people who obtained surveying degrees under civil engineering department like B.A. Nikwe, J.P. Okan, J.N.O. Mensah, K.G. Entry, B.A. Fia, and the list will go on and on as the years progressed. But R.J. Simpson later became the first African Director General of Surveys to be succeeded by S.H. Garagbeku, na Alaji Idrisu Abu, Jian Doche, E.A. Mohenu, J.T. Odamte, W.K. Opoku, E. Aduteyua, Y. Abuajiche, and then, of course, our current director, Na Abukari Abdullahi. But as one of the major roles of the department has been the licensing of surveyors for the purpose of concessions, and cadastral mapping, there has been a large number of Europeans and also African surveyors who have been licensed over the years. And the first recorded license surveyor number 1 was in the name of Bayard Francis Snow. And that was issued on the 28th of August, 1923. Because our association, just like the study grounds that we survey, must be built on the bedrock of knowledge, dedication, and innovation to enable us to navigate the complexities of terrains, which can be both physical and also allegorical. We have to recognize that we are not only mapping in terms of geographic and Greek coordinates, but also affecting the lives that we will touch and the communities that we will empower and the future which we are going to inspire. And so today is essential for us to revisit our roots, to understand the challenges, and then dream collectively for the extraordinary potential that lies ahead of us. And so let me first start with the roots. When the Association of Chartered Surveyors, which is the precursor of the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, was formed in 1953, it was a grouping of members who were chartered surveyors by virtue of the fact that they have become members of the RICS. And it was therefore a mix of professionals, land surveyors, valuers, quantity surveyors comprising names such as S.H. Garegbeku, K.R. Quist, E.A. Aban, H.R. Sawyer, S.A. Beriaku, and A.H. Osei. And these were mostly civil servants, even though with years some went into private practice. And the association later on also accepted other like professionals, whether they were public sector workers or they were in private practice. But certainly this presents a very complex, yet maybe also a potentially beneficial environment where you have a grouping of different professional expertise and also a mix of civil and private practitioners. First of all, we have to recognize that there are divergent professional aspirations because each professional group has their distinctive career aspirations, their work ethics, and professional norms. And when we try to combine these divergent aspirations together under one association, certainly it can lead to a lack of focus and diluted mission for the association, potentially rendering or hindering the effectiveness in serving each group's unique needs and ambitions. Secondly, also, there is the conflict of public versus private sector goals, because these two groups also have different motivations and aspirations. Whereas the private practitioner is aiming at entrepreneurship, is aiming at high income, corporate success through integration, the civil servant's priority is in stability, no risk-taking, maintaining the status quo without change, innovation. And thirdly, also in terms of skill development and networking opportunities, each professional group will require different skill sets and networking opportunities. And I dare say that until the measure into Lands Commission, it was difficult to have imagined that one division's whole annual budget could not even buy an equipment for each regional office for another division in the same union. Fourthly, also, when we have such an association, it will always struggle with equitably allocating resources among the diverse professional groups, and decisions about resource allocation could create internal strife and dissatisfaction among the member base. Fifthly, if we are fair to ourselves in our scrutiny, we would notice that each group has different regulatory concerns and policy interests. Advocacy efforts that benefit one group might not align with or even counter the interest of another group. And I was just conferring with my senior brother, Sovia Abose, about the Survey Council bill, which was initiated in 2003. And up till now, we have not seen the light of it. And then I drew his mind to the fact that in 2003, 2004, 2005, I was in governing council. And I remember suggesting to governing council that why don't you change the name to the Land Surveyors Council Bill? Because most of the things in there was for the land surveyor. And yet the valuer will go and change it. And then when they bring it, it doesn't sit in well with the land surveying. And so it keeps going forth and back, and until now, from 2003, we are in 2023. But the sixth thing is that there is the difficulty of crafting a cohesive identity brand which will resonate with all member groups, and the association may struggle to communicate its value proposition to prospective members across the diverse professional landscape it aims to serve. These days, all of us, we call ourselves surveyor. Then you are now struggling to find out whether I want you to come and do a survey work for me. Can you do it? Then the person will now say, oh, my surveying is in a building or quantities. Amen. And that's what I mean by by an identity and a brand. But in spite of these shortfalls, there are advantages also. For instance, there is a diverse skill set and knowledge base brought on board from the different sectors, and this can afford cross-disciplinary learning, potentially leading to innovative problem-solving approaches, broader understanding of complex issues. And there is also a wider networking opportunities because professionals can expand their networks beyond their specific fields, potentially opening up new opportunities and collaborations. And in terms of professional development, there is the prospect of holistic learning leading to more well-rounded understanding of business regulatory landscape as each profession share insights on their best practices. And again, when it comes to advocacy, I believe that a stronger voice is better than having separate despairing voices. But having looked at the pros of that grouping and also the cons of it, it is quite evident that some aspects had been dealt with in the divisional groupings under the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, where you have the land surveying division, you have the valuers, the valuation and estate surveyors, and you have the quantities grouping. But there are other aspects that cannot be dealt with under that kind of arrangement. For example, we mentioned the private practice aspirations as against public service aspirations, and even the issue of branding. And that is why I now salute the pioneering architects of this grouping of licensed surveyors, and also those who had held the citadel as executives in the formative years. You have all worked tirelessly hard because you have charted and charted paths. And I cannot also fail to salute the role of His Royal Highness Na Alhaji Idrisu Abu, who in 2001 brought together all practicing licensed surveyors to a meeting at which the Association of Licensed Surveyors was enthusiastically discussed and adopted. I see in the history somewhere 2005, and I said, no, this was 2001, because Na left office March 2002. Let me also mention the pioneering role of the first executive committee led by Licensed Surveyor Kwame Tenaru Senior as president, Licensed Surveyor Albert Adisi Brema, his vice, Licensed Surveyor Neil Lamte, the secretary, Licensed Surveyor Stephen Jabba, the financial secretary, Licensed Surveyor Stephen Asieru, who was an executive member of that board, and Licensed Surveyor Enchua Mensah, who also was an executive member, and then Licensed Surveyor Gustav Kolom Asamoah, who was then the executive director, and then the able advisors, our own Licensed Surveyor Samuel Wilson Kuranchi, and Licensed Surveyor Professor Engineer C. Fosu. For many years, they held the citadel. They transformed and formalized the association to its current stage, and they worked hard with several committees, and we want to salute all of them also. But finally, let me commend the current executives, the executive committee, and the council of elders also for the progress of work so far. They have not finished their work yet, and so to them we say Ayiko. Our past is punctuated with moments of innovation, dedication, and a relentless pursuit of excellence, and perhaps some shortfalls and hurts also. But let me say that let us, rather than trying to find and pinpoint faults like politicians would do, because they see themselves as belonging to different divides, but as for us, we are all together. Let us instead be guided by the counsel of God to set gaps, especially as we have not passed this way before. Therefore, in the spirit that should propel us forward, I call on us all to unite. Let us beat our sword into their plowshares. Let us let go of all past hurts so that we will all go together as one big family. As we move into the future, we must be conscious of the challenges that lie ahead. The digital age has ushered us into a period of unprecedented opportunities, but it has also brought about new complexities. This digital age is challenging us to adapt, to evolve, and to innovate. Our maps are no longer confined to paper as previously. Now they live in the digital realm. They are accessible to some at the touch of a screen. Geospatial technologies are advancing at an unprecedented pace. They are offering us tools that were once considered science fiction, but these tools can also be grossly misused if their use is not guided by knowledge. Big data, artificial intelligence, and other evolving technologies are reshaping our mapping landscape. And we have to be more dynamic and adaptive in our approaches as geopolitical and social shifts demand that our maps be more inclusive and representative of diverse perspectives. And in charting our strategic path forward, I wish to propose 3 guiding principles. The first is education and advocacy for the continuous awareness of the importance of mapping in various sectors, from urban planning, infrastructure development, to disaster management. And we also have to raise awareness about the ethical use of mapping technologies, ensuring that our advancement benefit society as a whole. And my second guiding principle is in innovation and technological advancement, so we can embrace cutting-edge technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, and so on, to enhance the accuracy and accessibility of our maps. And the third guiding principle is our collaboration and global partnership, which we must foster within our association and also with international organizations, with governments, and with NGOs. And let me attempt to cast these observations into what I call a 6-goal strategic planning, starting with my adopted vision is to be a beacon of excellence and integrity in the surveying profession, with members who are not only unified and highly skilled, but also deeply committed to ethical practice, continuous improvement, and the betterment of society through responsible and innovative surveying practices. And my mission that the Licensed Surveyors Association of Ghana should dedicate itself to unifying, empowering, and advancing the professional interest of its members while vigorously advocating for ethical standards and education in the field of surveying. We have to have an unwavering commitment to serving the public and members alike, facilitating continuous learning, enforcing stringent ethical codes, fostering international collaborations, and actively engaging in policy advocacy and sustainable development initiatives related to the land surveying practices in Ghana and beyond. And so my strategic 6-goal strategic plan. And my goal number 1 is to strengthen member unity and professional development. And under that, I have 2 objectives. The first one is to develop and implement a comprehensive member engagement and community communication strategy. And the second one is to host regular workshops, seminars, and symposia to facilitate continuous learning and sharing of best practices among members. And my second goal is to enhance public awareness and perception. And under that also, I have 2 objectives. The first one is to launch a public awareness campaign to educate the public on the importance and usefulness of the activities of licensed surveyors. And as I was coming in, I asked the surveyor, George Okwabo Frimpong, what has happened to our Asasi program, whether a licensed surveyor Kingsley Martin have carried it away. Away with him, because it was a very good program that many of us listened to. It was not only educative, but it was also marketing us. And I realized that after some time, even the Lands Commission started sending panelists to sit on that program. So it meant that it was making inwaves, but unfortunately it had just been taken off, banished off the scene. I hope that we will see it revived in coming days. But my second objective under enhancing public awareness and perception is to regularly update and maintain an accessible library of resources at the association's headquarters for both members and also the general public. And so my third goal is to uphold and enforce ethical standards. And I have two objectives there also. The first objective says to formulate, review, and amend a strict code of professional ethics regularly, ensuring it reflects the current needs and challenges of the profession. Some time ago, Lisa partnered SMD to help in developing technical guidelines for the surveying profession. And we were quite at the tail end of that development. I don't know what happened to it and why up till now it has not been published for us to use. Perhaps Lisa President would want to revisit what had happened to that development. But my second objective under upholding and enforcing ethical standards is to establish a transparent and fair mechanism for enforcing adherence to the professional ethics and code among the membership. And my fourth goal is to advocate and collaborate for sustainable development. And there also I have two objectives. The first objective is actively collaborate with relevant bodies and organizations in formulating and implementing policies relating to land rights and sustainable development. And my second objective there is to establish partnership with licensed surveyor associations in other countries so we can exchange knowledge from them and also collaborate with them. And then my fifth goal is to provide conflict resolution and support services. So under that also, I have two objectives. The first one is to develop a framework for facilitating the resolution of land-related disputes involving external parties, and set up also, that's the second objective, a support system to provide moral and financial assistance to members in need. And my sixth goal is to promote innovation and research in surveying. And under that also I have two objectives. The first one is support and promote research in land surveying and the application of new trends and technologies in the field. And the second objective is to provide platforms for members to showcase and to disseminate their research findings and innovative practices to both the public and also peers in the surveying profession. So how do we implement all this? Each goal and objective can be overseen by a subcommittee within LISAC who will then report to the executive committee, and whose progress must be assessed annually with adjustments made to strategies and action plans as needed to ensure the successful achievement of LISAC's mission and vision. Let me also include in our plan for discussion and maybe consideration a financial sustainability and survival plan proposal. Our sources of funding can be diverse. So far, membership dues could be or has been deemed to be from deductions of members already through our LISAC policy, which was a very good policy because I have seen associations that have tried to strive on just membership due collection, and individuals who are out of work had always find it difficult to contribute, and the association was always insolvent. Fortunately, we have our LISAC policy, and deductions are always made from it, and a portion of those deductions can be deemed to be our membership dues. But we should also source for grants and funding proposals, which we can write actively from national and international collaborations, but we have to develop compelling proposals for project-specific funding. Then also, of course, if we organize ourselves well, we can organize training workshops with variety of payment options for the public, and put in place how they can pay for convenience online and so on. And then establish partnership with corporate entities and industry stakeholders who are willing to sponsor events, initiatives, and programs. We also have to do strategic investment, which consider safe and ethical investment options for any surplus funds to generate income for the organization. I know we've been doing some of these things already, but I just put it for emphasis again. And of course, we can offer consultancy services to the public and private sectors on surveying and land-related issues. Then we can also plan and execute various fundraising events and campaigns to bring in funds, and also market the association's services and events and initiatives effectively to increase participation and revenue. But if we do all this and obtain our funds, there have to be a proper financial management, which should start with development of an annual budget and a conduct of regular audit, financial audits. And then we have to practice transparent financial reporting to members and stakeholders so that people are not left in a limbo. So they start putting things on the platform about the finances and so on. We must also implement cost-saving measures and efficiency improvements to our operations. And of course, we should think of setting up an endowment fund to provide long-term financial stability, and building and maintaining a reserve or an emergency fund to cover operational costs during financial downtowns or when there are unforeseen circumstances. And then, of course, our investment in technology to improve operational efficiency, to reduce cost over time, and to offer online services that can generate income. Mr. President, the implementing steps can be the executive committee formulating and refining these plans and bringing it to the general membership for acceptance. And then also we must endeavor to always allocate responsibilities to committees and then hold those committees responsible. In conclusion, let us draw inspiration from our rich history. Let us learn from our successes and our failures. Our association's legacy is not just in the maps that we create, but in the impact that these maps have made on society. We are not merely surveyors, mappers, or geospatial experts, but we are architects of progress. We are pioneers of precision, and we are custodians of truth. Let's embrace the future with open arms, equipped with the wisdom of our past and the vigor of our ambition and commitment to making a difference. Our association has the potential to shape a future where maps are not just tools, but they are instruments of positive change. They are instruments that promote understanding. They are instruments that lead to sustainable development. Together, as we trace our past, as we draw inspiration from it, let's chart a strategic path that leads us towards a future where our association continues to be a beacon of accuracy, innovation, and positive change and togetherness. Thank you all, and God bless us all.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the keynote speech, well delivered. And I've just posted the full speech on our official business page. So for those that were taking notes, I'm sure that you can have the full details of the report on the page. We did not start early, but I think we're doing very well. We want to now have the thoughts of we ourselves. We've been taking some of the thoughts from the top, and we were to do the panel discussion and the open forum. We are going to find a way of crashing the two so that when we get whatever they want to convey, we'll get back to all of us again. Then we can break for the first session, go and look at the building, have lunch, and then we can go into the second part of today's program. But I want us to take the final message from the high table, and then my technical people will set the stage here for us to have the panel discussion, and then we can proceed. So we want to invite the Deputy Executive Secretary of Lands Commission, Surveyor Jones Oforiboidu, to also give us some few words. Let's put our hands together for him. I know I pick you off guard.
Good morning. Yeah, Mr. Chairman, and all protocols observed. I'm standing on the existing protocol. I didn't see my name on the program to speak. So I was just relaxed, you know, having my own time and absorbing all that is being said. But Doc wants me to say something. I came in a bit late because of a few issues that I had to deal with. But I heard the director of the Survey and Mapping Division speaking, and he spoke on a number of issues that stems, as it were, from the Lands Commission as well. And I think that most of the issues are issues that you may be discussing, you know, as you embark on this two-day seminar. But just to touch on a few others that, you know, the Lands Commission is dealing with, which, as it were, impacts on your practice as licensed surveyors. So I'm not too sure whether Director talked about the National Geospatial Policy. Director spoke about that. Okay, so I will not deal with that. But then what we're doing is to bring that policy into fruition. It's been on the drawing table for a long time. We tried to pass it through the past government. It didn't work out. We are starting again in the process of getting it through. It has to go to cabinet. I'm sure he mentioned that we have prepared the cabinet memo, and I'm sure within this week it should go to cabinet, so we can have that pass. That is going to help us to do a lot of regulation, of the practice of our profession. Looking at the geospatial space and how we as professionals will fit within the geospatial space. Having spoken about that, he talked about the online service which we are putting in place as Lands Commission to ease the submission of applications from your good selves. Currently, you all have to queue at the CSAU to submit your applications for approval. What we want to do is to move it online so that you can sit in the comfort of your office and submit those applications to the Lands Commission for approval. I am sure the team will be here to have a discussion with you and to brief you on the technical details of how we want to do it. But the whole essence is, first of all, to be able to reduce time and to be able to have a speedy approval of your applications as it comes to the Lands Commission. So once you upload it onto the portal, the Lands Commission portal, it goes to the back office, and then the quality control and quality assurance will be done on it, and then it will be pushed to you for you to sign after the quality control has been done. But those details will be discussed with you when the team comes here, so I will not belabor that point. But I think that it is something that we need to embrace, because it will save all of you time. It will save you, a lot of the stress that you go through with your clients, in terms of the delays in the process. We want to cut down on the delays in that process. And we think that in doing that, the integrity of the data will also be preserved, because we will be getting the actual, data that you have collected from the ground. And then the other aspect is that we will be dealing directly with the licensed surveyor. Okay, so the licensed surveyor will be the one that the Lands Commission will be dealing with directly, and we hope that it will help us to manage this issue of others, usurping the role of the licensed surveyor. But that still depends on all of you, if you will stick to those rules that we'll put in place. The other thing I want to speak about is the project that we're embarking on. I believe that you all have heard about the land reform project that the Lands Commission is embarking on. There was a time that I think about a month ago when the Deputy Minister put it in the public domain that the Lands Commission is receiving $85 million, to transform, the commission in terms of some activities that we want to do. We have seriously trimmed down the scope of the project. The initial cost of the project was supposed to be $165 million US. And that included a lot more of things that had to be done to completely transform the Lands Commission. For example, we're going to do a lot of infrastructure in the project. As you can see, our offices are now looking very different, from what they used to be. From those colonial buildings, we have now moved into a very modern, edifice, which I'm sure you've all seen, and you will commend the Lands Commission for at least you know. Yes, but as you may know, this intervention was purely from our IGF. Okay, we used our IGF to do this development, and out of the IGF that we generate, we are only entitled to 33% of the total IGF that we generate. So 67% goes back to the government chest to support other sectors of the Ghanaian economy, you know. So this 33% is what we're using to do all the things that you see we're doing. And that is absolutely not enough. So that is why we put a chunk in the project to support the infrastructure development. But upon discussions with the Ministry of Finance and all that, we had to trim it down. So we had to take out the aspect of infrastructure development. We had to take out some aspects of vehicles, which were, you know, part of the huge costs. And so we have now descoped the project, but we have still maintained the important characters in the project. So for example, the first component deals with mapping, and the mapping remains as it is. We did not descope the mapping. So we're going to map the whole country and have up-to-date maps with orthophoto maps. And as a result of that, we are also going to map about 20,000 square kilometers in large scale at 10 centimeter GSM. Now, those ones are supposed to be for systematic titling. And I think that is where you come in, because after we've done those large scale maps, we will move into those systematic titling, and we'll be going back to updating those sectional maps, which are, some of them are about 20 years old and very much outdated as we speak now. So we will need to update those maps, and then we'll need to use them for systematic titling. And we'll come back to you because that component of the project is supposed to be done by local surveyors. We have clearly stated it in there that it was supposed to go to local surveyors. So it's going to come to you. And at this point, I would wish that we put our house in order. Let's make sure we form very formidable teams that will be able to undertake these projects. It is important that you get yourselves ready, because that is the area in which we are going. When it comes to the flying as well, another component that we have hived up for local surveyors is a ground control. So that will also come to you for you to assess whichever firm will be doing the flying. You will be doing the ground control aspect for them. So, Sylvia President, I expect that too, you need to put teams together, because we want teams that will be able to deliver and deliver on time. So it will come to you for you to do that. So I will encourage us to form teams. Let's form consortiums. Let's put our resources together. Let's form strong firms that will be able to compete, you know, with the foreign firms to do some of these things. We wouldn't want foreign firms to come in and now go into the ground to be doing ground control, to be doing systematic titling and all that. With the systematic titling, we'll be taking it from the orthophoto maps that will be generated. So once the maps are generated at that large scale, we will upload them onto hand device, which you would go out there and do the field completion. So it wouldn't be like surveying from the scratch. It will be basically field completion, but we need some expertise from you that will be able to do that. You need to also engage some of these young ones. I know most of you cannot go out by yourselves to do this, but if you have a team, you have some young professionals in that team, you should be able to get that done. So these are food for thought that I would want you to think through it and see how you will be able to partner with the Lands Commission to deliver. On that note, I think I would end here, and let me congratulate all of you for how far you've come. It's been a very formidable association, and I hope that you will continue like this. I know you are charting a new path, and let's see how things go. But as Xavier Ayers said, I believe that when we work as a team and we work together, we achieve results. If we work at cross purposes, we will not achieve anything. I believe that a word to the wise is enough. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much. You can, I think the president said we're trying to get a pickup, but it looks like God has given us a car in advance, because I have a car key without the owner. So if we don't find the person, it means that Lisa already has a car. So please check in your bags. It looks like whilst we were working on the stomach, we forgot where the key is. So check. If you cannot find your car key, you come for identification and collection. But just be sure to give me $1,000, because it's still better than buying a new car. So we'll take a musical interlude, maybe just some 5 minutes musical interlude. And then maybe, ushers, if you can set the stage here for our panel discussion. We are just going to do the two so that we can bring this session to an end. I'm sure that most of the speakers have been able to outline the strategic steps we should take moving forward. So panelists and then discussants in the open, maybe let's not repeat the things that are already said. Let's just maybe outline the other things that have not been mentioned so that we can take those ones as the takeaways, and then we can consolidate and we can bring this session to an end. So Michael and team, please give us.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Come on, please, Michael. Please, members, our FIG president has an assignment. So we want to take the group photograph now. Please, We are not done yet. Please, 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 please. Order, order, order. Please, we want to take the group photograph now. Okay. So that will be another way of making eyes and shaking ourselves. So then we come and finish the last session. So please, we want to step out and take the group photograph. So please, let's move out and take the group photograph and return quickly. We are not moving out. Please, let's come forward. Let's take the picture here. We are taking the picture in front here. So please, we can have the high table descend and sit. Yes, and then there will be a breakout session. So please, can we do this activity quickly so that we can bring the first session to a close? After that, we can network. We have a lot of time, please. Please, let's go. Let's go. Please let the people go down. Please, yes. Oh, those in front, those at the back, please, please come in front. Please. If no one wants to Photoshop you, wherever you are. Please, I'm writing the names of talkatives, and I will. Thank you very much for coming so that we can do this very quickly. Let your face be captured, please. Let your face be captured. Yes, yes, the flight is about to take off. Position yourself. Position yourself. Please position. Hey, they don't see you, Joe. Cameraman, yes, yes, yes. Okay, all right. So please, let's just take our seat. Let's start so that we can finish the last part. So the fast. Please, let's take our seat so that we do the panel discussion so that we can end the first session, please. Please, can we take our seats and then we just leave about 6 in front for the panel discussion. We need to be going to the site by 1 p.m. So we need to fast track this. Let's take our seats. Let's take our seats.
Please take your seats. Please. We have to finish this and go to Laboni before we come for lunch. Otherwise, we won't have lunch. Please take your seats. Please, we want to start our discussion.
Take your seat.
I request that we can please sit. I want to invite those that will be helping us in the discussion. And I want to invite License Surveyor Dr. Akwaje. Please humbly take your seat for the panel discussion. License Surveyor Joseph Ewua, please take. License Surveyor Felix Amwa. License Surveyor Abraham Mantiao. License Surveyor Florence Lamte. And so as I said, the questions that I'll be throwing I'll get their feedback. And please, technical team, can we get a microphone? Can we get a microphone? Yes. So that we can be very snappy on this session. We'll have to put the two together so that all right, so let's set the ball rolling. And I want to have your individual thoughts, like I did mention. We've heard a lot from the beginning of this session till now. But in your own opinion, what can you say about the team? What can you add to all the discussions on the team? So, Doctor, we start with you.
All right, thank you very much, Prof. We are looking at the past and then looking at the way forward as licensed surveyors in Ghana. The first thing that I want to say is that we should always be guided by how the association was formed. It was formed based on sacrifices of some few members. And I'm sure all of us know that at the beginning, some few licensed surveyors came together, used their own money from the little monies that they were getting from signing cadastral plans. And that was the basis for, or the basis of forming this association. And now we have come to this far. So anything that we do as an association, we must be guided by that principle. Professionalism, unity should be our purpose. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is our collaboration with Lands Commission. Collaboration in terms of ethics. I think that there are a lot of things that we have been doing as licensed surveyors, which is quite good. We are improved over the years. But in ethics as a teacher, I will give us on a scale of 10, I will give us 5. I've done very well, 5. Yes. Or you want me to go below 5? No, I won't do that. Okay. 5 is okay, but there is a lot that we can do. And I feel that we must collaborate with the commission to crack the whip. I feel that me, Akwaje, if I do something wrong, I should be punished for what I have done. Now, I'll give a simple analysis or 2 simple analysis that I
maybe one for so that we can wind up for this session. Yes. Yeah.
We had a visit to the Chief Justice about 2 months ago. And I'm sure the president knows about this story. GHIS, ESCO, and we left the woman's office in shame. The sort of things that she talked about, if you are a surveyor, you will never be a happy person in that meeting. And I think that is what the general public sees us. They see us as ethically not good people. For example, in FIG, we had a meeting with Ghanaians there, and they were asking, why is it that they charge cadastral plan and they charge barcoded plan? I was there with the president and the deputy executive secretary. And these are ethical issues. So I think as a group, we should be looking at this very, very well so that we can enhance our image. This is what I want to add.
All right. So maybe Abraham, if I know that you are also into practice and we wanted to have the academic, we also wanted to have the industry experience. This years on, as LISAC is trying to reposition itself, what do you think are some of the things that we can add up to also make our public image that which we want to see? I think that Dr. Akweje started something like that.
Well, thank you very much for that opportunity. The public image, as you know, you have just made mention of, is critical to the work we do. And when you look at it from the perspective that licensed surveyors are the people that we are, just the few of us here are responsible for, with the exception of SMD itself, responsible for all the plans that are being prepared and registered, then it is critical the way the public sees us. So for instance, the program OASASE was the only avenue that brought us to the fore, which unfortunately is off air. Hitherto, there had not been any such. And you would speak to chiefs, they would tell you, we can't find you. You speak to bankers, they will tell you, where are you? So how else have we marketed ourselves is the question. And so we must create that image that is missing in the eyes of the public. That can only be created by us. And so let us use every effort to let people know who we are, what we stand for. And so take away that bad image that the others are creating for us. There was a time our honorable in parliament cited an example where there was this person, quack person in the village, claimed to be a surveyor, surveyed the land, put a value on it and all that. So they create that image for us. That such plans are not even signed, but they say they are surveyors and they do all that. So that's the kind of image that is out there. And not until we step out there and let the public know who we are, how they can assess us, that image still would continue.
Yeah. So I think that's fine. So it means that we have a role to play ourselves. And then whilst being visible, they will visit our sins to us on air as well. So what is critical, and I think maybe the executives are listening, and what is happening is that in rebranding, I'm sure that in the message of the president, we must be all out, and we must also ensure that the motto we stand for, that is what we actualize. So we want to find out if director mentioned instrumentation, registration, and other things that licensed surveyors should appraise them to as far as professional practice is concerned. If we are rebranding, what will be your take on professionalism, as in ability to have logistics for licensed surveyors to be able to practice and practice effectively? What will be your thoughts on that moving forward as a group?
Thank you very much, Prof. Larry. Before I go to my question, I just want to dovetail a bit into the public image. Currently, we have 180 plus licensed surveyors in Ghana now. And as part of public image, the best public image is to serve the localities as well. And in serving the localities, I've always been saying this, that we need to adopt a district. We have 261 districts in Ghana. And in the districts, we are not there. We are in some districts. Greater Accra, Kumasi. But when you look at all the districts, I think that if we adopt districts, our presence will be felt more so far as our public image is concerned. So that is just to digress a bit. But to my question, with instrumentation, technology have told us that calls are coming up. And so far as calls are coming up, it will enable us to buy less receivers and tap into the calls. So for me, I think that is one big transformation that is really going to help our profession as licensed surveyors. So we are not going to buy, instead of you're going to buy 4 or 5 receivers, you only buy 2. And that will be good. So the densification of the calls is very, very, very important. And listen to what our able director of survey said concerning the MOU, GMX and all that. I think, I don't know what is going to happen to our LISA calls that is existing now, whether we're going to integrate or consolidate that as well to the new system. All that will help so that we'll have a robust network so far as line surveyors. So on instrumentation, I think technology is really going to help us ensure that things become easy for us. But then also, LISAC management should also see how best we could also assist some licensed surveyors who cannot afford 1 or 2 receivers. And then go into programs before cooperatives, as our able deputy director said, we have to gear ourselves up for action. So 3 or 4 line surveyors can come together and then form some of our cooperatives, and then LISAC management can see whether we could support cooperatives like that. That will also help us in that.
That's okay. Thank you. License surveyor Amwa. What's the name? If you look at other professions, they will say young surveyors. So when license surveyor Professor Aye in one of his speeches said, "They the young surveyor." So when I was seated there, I said, "Hey, then me, what will I say?" So you see that our fathers are many as far as the license surveyors are concerned. We the young ones, we are just trying to follow you people. And so maybe where you sit, if we repositioning and taking strategic steps, what do you think will be some of the things we should look out for so that as license surveyors, maybe the young ones amongst us will be able to also position ourselves effectively in the association? What would be your thoughts on that?
Thank you very much. I would say that surveyors my age, we can't afford to go wrong, in the sense that we are blessed to have teachers or lecturers among us, and many other senior surveyors who perhaps saw us growing from our school days, during our attachment and all that service to where we are now. And we still have their blessings. And at this age, we are the able men, if I must say, and we are willing to work. When you come to the regions, for instance, in the Eastern region, we are trying our best, but we will continue to need the support of our seniors and the association, in the sense that, for instance, you are known to be a licensed surveyor out there. You have agents that you work with, and if you get a job, then you go to someone that you tout as a quack to go and rent instruments. Then what can you say of the person? Because you don't have it, and you need to also work. And also, I believe that we are not in touch, especially, excuse my language, but we don't know what is going on the ground, in the sense that nowadays we have a lot of, we don't have quacks anymore, but we have a lot of professional surveyors because of the number of institutions also training geomatic engineers and other surveyors. So when these people go to do their services and attachment at SMD and all that, when they finish nowadays, we also know that there's no work. So such people go out, or they come to you that, "Oh, I want to be your agent," and all that. And there are certain things you cannot turn them down. So as a matter of urgency, I think that we, the young surveyors, we should try and set up our offices, especially those of us who are practicing. We should have our office, and then the association must also help us secure some instruments. If we can say maybe per region, liaising with the coordinators, they can have maybe every region 4 rovers, which will be with the coordinators. It will be of great help to us.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we the young surveyors, we need help in terms of logistics, president and team, so that we'll be able to work effectively. Last month, I put in place one of my offices in Wa, and it's surprising to say that for a very long time now, people don't come into that space. I'm a lone ranger. I wish the work was much, but it's not as much as we think. And you see that many of these young surveyors, it takes a great deal to be able to get these logistics. Asa is almost a lone ranger in Upper East. And so let's look at it and support the young ones to be able to get the necessary equipment. And then because you people, you have it all. And I know some have a lot. And if you also want to be able to mentor the very young ones, then hey, so am I out of order? You people will help us, or and maybe so maybe you should be able to help our seniors and our seniors. So Florence, fortunately this morning we have the whole president of surveyors who happen to be of the female gender, and I know that if we are rebranding, I don't know what will be your thoughts on female participation. I see licensed surveyor Mercia Champon there and a host of others. We are saying that we are taking strategic steps, and I know you are the forefront of many of these changes. What would be your thoughts on the participation of females and then that kind of gender inclusion in this journey of the work of licensed surveyors as we seek to reposition ourselves?
Okay, thank you very much. I think the females in the practice are not doing bad at all. We are really matching up with our male counterparts. But what I can say is sometimes the encouragement also helps. I remember one of my mates, at a time we were 4 surveyors, the ladies. And I can say 2 of us are practicing. One is in finance now, the other one in insurance. I am the only person in Ghana. The other lady is practicing in US. But the those who are no more practicing, the lady said something that got me disturbed. Because there was when she was looking for a job and she contacted one of our senior people who taught her in school. Then there was this project that she heard that the man has got that he was recruiting the guys to do. She went to ask him, and what he said, now what about to me? And she told him that you trained me in the university, so why did you waste my time? Then she moved out of the profession. Please, we are there. If you give us that enabling environment, we'll perform and even outperform some of the men.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yes.
Let's go to the schools. Let's set up offices, go to the schools, get them as national service people, give them a project, and you see how remarkable they will perform for your satisfaction. So the women, we are there, and I have so many examples. As I was sitting at the back and the deputy executive secretary was talking about ground controls for the flying that they would do. I said, yes, that is my area. I really loved what I did previously. I was telling him the Peru Mountain. We climbed it looking for the points. The people were screaming, you people, nobody can climb, you will die. But we climbed from Akwesihu. Then I think we went to...
You are employed, you are overqualified.
Yes. So the women, I was leading the team. When we went to the other side, my co-workers was, hey, madam, wait there, what my in Sempa na yabano. The women we can do, please employ us and we'll do well for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now want to go to my seniors on the other side before I come to this side. Maybe if you have any contribution on all the questions that we are talking about, the vexatious matters that exist. And so maybe before others, I will veto Soveaka so that please, if you can give Soveaka the mic, and then the vexatious issues because when I posted the question, it said, let's look at the dollars, the pounds, and then the euros. So as we seek to rebrand, what are, maybe briefly, what are the strategic steps we should take so that when we make our image okay, we employ the females, we employ everybody, there will also be money in our pockets?
Fellow surveyors, good afternoon. It looks as if I'm going to go against my brother. For now, I want to talk about phonetics. I will teach phonetics just for 1 minute. Then if there's something else we do. When the baby is born, the baby is given a name. The baby is called Amma. And when an Indian man is pronouncing Amma, he may say Imi or something. I'm so saddened that most of the time you pronounce a name Lesag wrongly. Don't take this as a little thing. We pronounce Lesag very, very wrongly. So Bose, for instance, when he's talking about Lesag, you don't know whether he's calling a lizard or lizard. You see, no, it's very important, please. The letter I.
To the substantive.
So I want to say that Lesag is Lesag. It's not Lisa or Lesag or something. So let's be careful about it. That is one thing. Now, talking about our future.
Yes.
I'm so happy Sylvia Jones, where do talk something about Lands Commission having a program so that we can do most of the things online. I think that one alone is going to save us from a lot of parts and stealing. Yes. As for the stealing, my words are too blunt, but as for stealing, as we sit here, we've had so many discussions. Regional surveyors taking so much money high and above the official thing. It's going on. People came and they talked, and some of them were really crying. I mean, licensed surveyors amongst us here. 100 acres land, the fee is about 2,000. The regional surveyor says he's taking an extra 4,000 before he signs. So the plans have been returned. I'm so surprised that director of survey is not informed about these things. These things are criminal. They are not.
Yeah, but maybe that's why this open forum is good that they are also there, because if you listen carefully to his speech, he asked about feedback, being able to get back to him because he may not know all. Have you taken steps? Because I know you have all these. Have you taken steps to formally at least approach them to tell them these happenings?
Yeah. So these things are what we have to do to stop them.
Yeah.
But if Lands Commission is even going to do what they say they are going to do for us, then what about those stations that don't have CSAUs? How are they going to do it?
All right.
Yes. You see, so we should find ways of making these things work in the other places.
So I think that's a point well made. Yeah. Thank you very, very much. So that is well made. Yes. Please, any other contribution? President. Okay, let me go to yes. Then I'll move there. President, you have your distance. So
fellow licensed surveyors.
Yes.
If we really want to succeed, if you really want to succeed, let me quote a scripture.
Okay.
On the basis of our discussion. Isaiah chapter 43. Verse 18 says, Isaiah chapter 43, verse 18 says, do not remember the former things. Do not dwell on the past. If we have that scripture at the back of our minds, we will move forward. Look to the future and what? Focus on the positives. We are all imperfect. We are all imperfect. But many a time, you see, sometimes when surveyors meet, you say this and that and all those things. And it retards progress. Let me digress a bit and go to the VES. You know, they did some Zoom, the strategic plan. You realize that they were so focused that even The GIS president asked them, you this 10-year strategic plan. So you didn't tie in the GHIS also 5-year plan. He didn't answer well. Their focus is let's unite and make VES high. And when you look at the QS2, I built these Zoom meetings. You realize that the guys, they are in for the kill, making sure that yes, their profession will go high. You know, there's a course. Is it putting this thing? The chairman said, we've taken it. Forgotten this thing. It's something, you know, other people go and do those courses. Is it? They do that courses, but they said now they're taking control over it. And let me give an example. AESL had a job with US. Rudan, Jotech, they all attended. But AESL won the job. And after winning it, it is not a matter of you come and do it technical thing. But forgetting this, and there is an issue with, I've forgotten that, and I realized that the guy was telling us that, look, you have to, no arbitration, it's something who deals with the money aspect. Procurement. Thank you. Procurement. And there was one guy, he's not a QS man, but he has done procurement masters. And sometimes when he makes the statement, I just look at him. And the guy was so serious, and he was somewhat annoyed. I came back to the office. And fortunately, one of the good quantity surveyors, let me call his name, is Uwabu, our past president. Uwabu, he has an authority on procurement. So I said, Uwabu, this is a survey job. But the way the guy is doing, Charlie, let's go. He made the guy small. So all throughout this survey job, we did the work with Uwabu. Let me mention his name. Uwabu. So like Reverend Professor Ayer said, we can cross over to and all those things.
All right.
Yeah, we'll go a long way. So this forum, these two seminars, the AGM, please let's make sure that nobody is dwelling on the past. Then the time you realize,
I think the point is very well made. So let's focus. Let's also ensure that we build the synergies around so that together we can probably be able to focus. Yes. Let's be brief.
I want to be brief.
Yes.
There's a saying that many people are in school, but few are learning. Many people are in school, but few are learning. That's how I see within this association. We should try to learn, but not to be in the school.
Okay.
Most of these young surveyors, they don't want to learn. They want to be in school. They don't want to learn and get the aspects for their future use. They are there not to learn, but maybe make money. We all agree that the men and women today, they will tell you, oh, I need employment, I need work. That person is not telling them. He wants money, but he doesn't want their work. That is one aspect of what some of the young surveyors want. You should try to discourage them by putting them together to let them learn, not just to be in school. Learn the aspects why they entered into survey. People have been thinking that survey is now it's a cheap one, you can go and do it. Please, survey is not cheap.
All right.
Listen, getting the data has improved. Collecting data has improved. But submitting that data has not changed. When we were born in the Soviet school, the old surveys with me and before me to testify that conditions have changed to collect the data, but presentation of that data has not changed. And that's why you want to learn and adapt. If you adapt all this and know that conditions have changed somewhere, but along the line, you have to learn it. And if they are not willing to learn, you never know. And if you don't change your mind, you can't change anything.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we take, let's take was there any other hand? Okay, let's take, so we'll take two, come to president, then we move on. So let's take, so we are Messi, then we go to, so we are Jamna, and then.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, so you can go ahead.
I think a lot has been said, and there are a few to deliberate on. I was listening to dear Daddy when he was talking about the young ones not wanting to learn and just concentrating on the money. But he can bear with me that their times are different from now. And if you don't have the money, you wouldn't even have the mind to learn. So sometimes we need to be fair to the young ones, understand where they are coming from, and strategically use them for that. Sincerely, I would say that yes, he was talking about their times. But we have even come here and said, strategically, we want to look forward. Their times was purposeful for their days. Now things have changed. And even we can attest to it that even the instruments and things we are using has changed. So what do we do to help ourselves and to help the young ones? I will say that, yes, it's good to understand the profession and understand the basis. But like we equally said, what is it that we can empower the young ones to have so that they will add on to what we are giving them? I look at us and sometimes I wonder, like we were talking about procurements. You realize that now, even if someone wants to give you a job, it's not only about your profession. He wants to know what you are bringing on board. If you look at profession, procurement, you are looking at, how do I call it? Legal. You are looking at other aspects. I went to one professional AGM and the things they were talking about was not even about their profession. They had about 6 legs. They are strategically positioning the young ones to go into it, just to help them to, empower themselves at the top. So if we can come down and look at these things, it will very well help us. Where we encourage the young ones, yes, the professional one is there, but then we go into legal, we go into procurement, we go into project management, we go into, so that we can prepare ourselves strategically for things that are ahead of us. I now look at even when they were talking about instruments. We, in quotes, have so much money. We sometimes fight around it. Why can't we strategically get some of these instruments, put it down, even set a company, a group of companies under LISAC, and then put some of these young ones there. You know, when they start doing it, they'll get to a point where they don't even fit in there. They feel too big for the space you are giving them. Then they'll move out. Gradually, you realize that we grow. So please, let's look at things in a different perspective once again, and we'll be good to go. Thank you.
So that's the way to go, because we are really looking at the way forward. So thank you for setting the pace, so that not about what we are complaining. What can we do? Yes.
Yeah, in charting a strategic path for a better tomorrow, it means that we have to be people of influence. If we don't have influence, whether in our communities, whether in our traditional areas, whether it is a public service, whether it is in the political area. So one, we should begin to, like she said, to identify people we can support to be people of influence for our profession. The other thing is also, I think that we are all in the areas that we come from. I think we are all opinion leaders, or we are people of influence. And I think that we can influence the decisions that our various chiefs take in our communities. For example, I went to in my town, they have a large tract of land in the Afram Plains, in the Kwawu area. And the surveys are being done by all manner of people. So I went to the chief and I told him that that thing should be stopped. And I told him why that thing should be stopped. And I told him that now I want to supervise all the survey activities being undertaken by the palace. No, immediately they agreed. They said, look, yes, you are an opinion leader. You are from this town. You are an opinion leader. And therefore, we think that if you're going to do it, you do it better. You manage our lands better for us than allowing all sorts of, I mean, people who do the survey, they are old town planning officers who have retired and all manner of quack surveyors doing some activities. So influence in our community, if we are people of income, we can influence the decisions that the chiefs take, especially concerning survey.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have some 5 to 10 minutes, and I will want to, before I come to the president, I will want to have our deputy directors at SFD. I'm sure this is what we are also saying, but in rebranding, I'm sure they have a certain expectation that dealing with us, they will also want to contribute. So let's send to the deputy directors and the regional surveyor for greater. Maybe we can start from Surveyor Hanan. I'm sure that there is a certain expectation that, so that at least it's good that as you have come here, we can have some few thoughts too from each of you on your expectation. You can also see what we are also bringing on board. So maybe we want to hear from you people briefly. Then we come to the president. Then we come to the panel and they give us their closing words. Because of time, we need to work on the next session. So Anand, please, you can go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Rebranding. First, I think we need to look at the technical aspects of our works. Have we gone past elimination of errors and all these things in the work we present for approval? The client out there first is looking at what you are giving out to him or her. Have you gone past that? What are members doing? We take critical look at the jobs or works that are presented to us before we append our signatures. If we haven't gone past that, you can't convince a client that you are better off. So please, first, let's look at these aspects. Let's be professional and then ethical in our jobs, in the works we do. If we go past that, then we can now look at, okay, I think I need to reposition myself, say that what I'm delivering to you, or how I want to present myself, or how I want you to see me, then we can look at those aspects. So first, you get to the regional surveyor, and a lot of works comes in, and you don't think this should come from a professional licensed surveyor. It is not just appending your signature. Appending your signature means you have given all your all in all to that particular way. So let's go beyond this technical aspect. Then we can now sit and look at, okay, we want our client to see us this way or that way. Technology is changing. We need to be able to sit or influence policies. Government comes up with policies. What is our contribution to it? Or how do we take it? And then really look at it and then position ourselves to deliver the government. These are things, the way we want our licensed surveyors to look at things. So basically,
That's but I think that's a valid point. So we all can't.
Thank you very much. Yes, so I've been a regional surveyor before, so I will talk about quality of work. I think my colleague has mentioned a part of it. For surveyors, we look at quality. I mean, standards are very important for us. So we must look at the way we present our work. We must adhere to all the standards and the qualities that must come with the work. And the work also has to be presented very well so that it will meet our standards. One other thing I also talk about is work integrity. It is very important that we make sure that we are integrity is very, very important. We deal with clients, and we also have to make sure that we like meet the standards that the clients are requiring from us. Client satisfaction is also very important. We are working for clients, we are dealing with them, they are expecting us to deliver to them, and therefore we also have to make sure that we satisfy whatever we are they are asking us to deliver to them. Also, we have to develop a certain kind of relationship with our clients. It's important that the young ones that are coming, life is dynamic, life is changing. So also surveying is changing. So also the way we relate to our clients are changing. So we need to come to the place where we develop a very close relationship with our clients. So for now, I think these are the points that I want to talk about.
Thank you very much. We give to Surveyor Na Abu Seidu.
Thank you, Prof, for the opportunity. We are talking about rebranding. Surveyors, we have a lot to offer to society. There's a whole lot of issues to be handled by licensed surveyors out there. But what do we have here? We have licensed surveyors who are working alone, one person. Go forward, I will want to suggest that we look at establishing offices. Let me commend the surveyor president. You go to his office and you know that this is really an office. Let us establish offices to employ the teeming youth that we call quack surveyors. If we don't put them together, mentor them, for them to practice the surveying profession to the best, and we keep on calling them quacks, we're not going to go anywhere with it. Yet also we are not going to go anywhere because nobody's going to feel that there's a surveyor in this country. Yes. Is it Prof who was talking about, or Dr. Akwaji, that they went to the CJ's office and they came out feeling so sad? Yes. Because we are nowhere. We only know ourselves, licensed surveyors, but we are not on the ground. The chiefs, I've been a regional surveyor before. The chiefs, they have their own surveyors who never stepped a foot into a classroom. I'm yet to be challenged if this is not correct.
Yeah.
Yet we have licensed surveyors who complain that they don't have jobs. We don't know how to go to the chiefs. Like Surveyor Jamuna just said, let us make ourselves relevant. Yeah. Let us go out there to the hinterlands. Let them know that there is a professional surveyor and not everybody who presents himself as a surveyor is a surveyor. Let us establish ourselves. I see a lot of firms, consultants, and what have you here, yet we are working alone.
if we don't establish offices and engage our team youth, and we work alone, they cannot be mentored. They will do the bad things.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they will bring it to you, you will sign and bring it to us and will tell you the rubbish.
Yeah.
So please,
Sure.
let's look at that.
Yeah.
If we don't establish offices, we are nowhere. Let us make ourselves relevant, known in the country, and we can even go up to the politicians and do good, bigger jobs.
Yeah.
This is what I want to add.
Thank you very much. Please to Surveyor Bediako. Yeah. And then I will come to my panelists for your few comments. My chairman tells me the bus is waiting. So learn your summary in a minute before I get to you. Okay. I think director will also want to. So let's get Surveyor Bediako.
In brief, I think a lot have been said, but I think coming to this seminar, I expect the licensed surveyors who, with their vast experience, collate how we can, I want to reassert what Surveyor Jamina rightly said, how we can be relevant in times like this. For instance, this flood that we had today, we had now, back in the days when the dam was constructed, the level where the maximum water holding was established. So we can probably come out with papers right to the local government in issuing of permits. We go back to the provision of topo maps that are tied into the vertical datum of the nation. So where plants probably fall below the accepted, maybe the 50 feet level mark, you reject. So in time like to make us relevant. And also we take time to also study. We should also take time and study the rules and regulations guidance, especially the survey and approval of plans. And when you meet with the LESAC money that we have, we should find a way to really school all professionals, either GHIS or LESAC. Most of the time when plans come for approval, the way it is compiled, petty mistakes, but you forget that that particular document is a legal document that might end up somewhere. You might think the coordinates alone is the most important thing, but the aesthetics as well is important. Most of the things captioned on the plans are all captured in the LI 1444. I wouldn't like to take much of our time here. So with time, feedback from you will help us to collaborate with LESAC and other relevant institutions to come up with rules and regulations that will guide our profession. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll just take Director of Surveys, and then I said President, and then I come back. I'm sorry I cannot take, my chairman is on me. Maybe for the rest of us, maybe afternoon session, if there's time, we give you part 2 when we are back. But I want to take those that they've come to us and they will leave after this session. So let me give Director, President, and then the panel. Yes. Okay, so you've even helped me with time. So after Director, I'll come back to panel and then, yes. Yes, so Director, and then I give them their last words. Okay, Director, please.
Yeah. Yes, maybe a few comments and additions to certain issues that never came up. Regarding drones, actually we are liaising with avians to civil aviation to issue our directives as to who can come with any form of, call it auto photos for us to use in land registration. In fact, we are getting strict about that. And I think for those who are involved in this flying of drones, please, if you don't liaise with the Director of Surveys office and you go and team up with any LUPSA person or whoever, when you come later at the latter stage, we will reject your work.
Okay.
I want to stress that. Course and Lisa, maybe I should have added that, yes, indeed, LISAC is supposed, we are incorporating that of LISAC, and we are even expecting that other people who are also good in that area could be brought on board. So for us, too much meat does not spoil a soup. Yeah. We are talking of, yes, I think you mentioned district. I think we want to give you a Volga district. I don't know whether you are fine with that. You know, you see, well, the district distribution issue also comes with that equity thing that I did mention. When you come to the distribution, the question is, we have a cow. Who takes the head? Who takes the tail? Who takes the leg? Those are issues we ought to be very critical to look at before we can say surveyor A, you be in this district. Otherwise, I will reserve Greater Accra 11 years on, then I can 11 months on, then I can be in charge of Accra. Instruments registration. We are going to register all instruments. Anybody who wants to use an instrument for surveying, just like the license, the vehicle license authority, we expect. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, I wasn't loud enough. Or I wasn't speaking into the mic. We expect that we also, just like the DVL, we will register all survey instruments, whether you are a surveyor or not. We will register that so that we know that when anybody uses that instrument, we know its accuracy, we know its code has been calibrated and all that. That way we can rope in all kinds of instruments that are supposed to be used for surveying. Come to talk of barcoded vis-a-vis cadastral plans and then the different costs. Somewhat. I wonder whether people even understand the difference. It may just be the same, was it a plan that they're talking about? And you see, we have not yet gotten to a stage where you can definitively say that, look, a barcode would cost this much. Because there is the official cost and there is the cost that you should have incurred on the side of the licensed surveyor. Because most of our licensed surveyors take the jobs from the professional surveyor, so-called, you can regulate that. You see, I remember when Sheikh was in office, and those days we started this our side plan sometimes. One time we cornered him and said, so Sheikh, so how much do you charge for a side plan? Sheikh raises his head. That time while we were saying, because he was a deputy director and we thought he should be able to tell us. Alhaji Brahma. So he looks up here and there. I see, when you see the client, look him up and down. You have to look at his shoe. Look at his the suit. You know, and then that way, you know, you see, it is not as easy as that to regulate. You see? So sometimes too, we ought to be very careful whether the person, those who are asking why are you charging barcoded this and charging cadastral this, do they really understand the questions that they are putting forward? Women in promotion issues. Mr. That one I am going to appeal to Deputy Executive Secretary that I think some of us, we are making strides and they should help us in that regard. Then I come back to the lizard, or is it lizard issue? I don't know whether I pronounce it well. I remember when I went to Russia, the pronunciation of Moscow, it is not Moscow in Russian, it is Moskva. And I remember there's in English, there's a certain phrase for sometimes you know that because of where you coming from, certain letters of the alphabet, you can never get it right. That's why I think most Ashantis, they say instead of milk, they say milk or something. You see? So, Mr. Mr. Aka, if somebody is pronouncing lizard as a lizard, I think we have to understand that one. You know. Okay. And there's another issue that you talked about, the charges for, was it maybe you give an example of 100 acres. You go to the regional surveyor and he says so and so. Please, that is what I mentioned. Some of these things, go to the regional surveyor. I have this work to do, so that you all are abreast with what you are going to do right from the onset. But when you bring it at the tail end, seriously, if I realize there's some, was it a guru person or whatever, if he comes and tells me 5,000, I'll tell him I'll take 20,000. Anyway, so those are my comments.
Okay, thank you very much. And so I'll start with you, in a minute, because my chairman, the boss, is waiting for us lunches. When we come back, as I said, tomorrow we can do part 2 with the rest that want to contribute. So in a minute, tell us your final words.
Okay, thank you very much. So once we have our director here, what I want to say is, sometimes you hear this license surveyor in this region want us to present our work in this format. This one too wants another format. If we can have a uniform format for presenting the site plan for approval, that would be nice. So please, because we get different templates most of the time. Okay, on our topic, which is the strategic path for a better tomorrow.
In 30 seconds.
As it said, now he's also speaking, late surveyor, the back case. Now, Lisa will be your front case. So please use your position, connect us to the chiefs, create that strategic path for us, and you come and enjoy. Thank you.
You very much. Felix, yes.
I also say that we should continue to lead the young surveyors who are coming, especially the professional ones, because they are coming in their numbers. And so we should find a way to mentor them. We should have a space for them.
Yeah.
Other than that, they are the people who goes to the site, whether we like it or not. So we should do that. And because we are also limited by the fact that we can't advertise. Nowadays, most of these real estate, they advertise, cadastral plans, what. And we also say that your good works will speak for you. Some of these people, when they need the work from you, they can call you, they can even come and pound for you so that you can give them the job. And we can't do that. So we should continue to lead the way, find a way to mentor them so that they are always with us. We collaborate with them because we still need them to use some of these technology things for us. So please, let us try and find a space for the young surveyors who are coming. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Prof, what I would like to say is that on the issue of looking after young surveyors, if you don't price well, you can't pay well. So if we need to do CPDs to help us to price well, that will help us a lot. Because some institutions do surveying engineering business as a module. But I can tell you now that you go through the 4-year program, then you don't do more than surveying engineering business. You price low, you pay low. Price well, you pay well.
That's
Thank you.
Very well.
Yeah, thank you. I would want to look at it from just like our team is saying, you know, charting the path, the strategic path. Quickly, I would say that it's quite sad that when we all here, I think everybody would have a company, right? And these are small companies in our pockets, you know. If there is any tender and you respond, you would find foreign companies coming and then we run and hide behind them. How long is that going to continue? When Professor Aye was reading the history, we realized that surveying practice started in Ghana the 1900s, early 90s. You know, and the academics, where we began building institutions way back. With all these engineers produced, we cannot boast of 20 companies that are internationally competitive. And that's a challenge.
All right.
How we should be looking at those things.
Yeah.
If we should not only look at businesses in Ghana, but West Africa, Africa.
International business.
Yes, it's there for us.
That's
so. How are we positioning ourselves? Yeah. I think that LISAC is better positioned in today's world where we know there are some funds. Whichever way, we must be strategic in raising companies that would stand the test of time in 20 years' time, in 10 years' time.
That's a point well made. Yeah. So thank you very much. And I think that's a good food for thought.
Thank you very much. I would say that we haven't done bad in the past. We are doing well now, but we can do better. And to do better, we have to look at ourselves, branding ourselves, get united, teamwork, develop our professional skills, and this association will move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, panel members, and thank you very much. So this has been the open forum and the panel discussion. The bus is downstairs waiting to convey us to the LISAC new building, or is it Lizard? Which one? LISAC house or Lizard house? Oh, it can be Lizard house. So anyway, but for today's survey, I have to pardon however I call this one because there shouldn't be too much problem about that. We're also reminding members of the FIG paper submission. The deadline for the non-peer review one is just at the corner, November 2nd. And so the technical papers to be presented, please, let's make it a point. I'm sure tomorrow we'll allow the director, Surveyor Stephen Jabba, to give us some highlights of it. But thank you very much for the first session. We go briefly, look at the building. We are doing that in some 45 minutes. We'll be back to take lunch, and then we'll look at the review of the Constitution. So thank you very much, and we can